lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Beyond.
Zombeyond.
Ah,
Ooh,
jeez.
zombie.
What do you got?
Beyondimus.
All right, good. Welcome, everybody, to Podcast Beyond, episode 142. I'm your host, Greg Miller, alongside...
Really, 142? That's
I know,
impressive.
right? And these are real. We didn't fake it.
The FCC has not shut you down yet.
No, they never will.
Wow.
We got Guys Guru, Colin Moriarty,
Release the Kraken.
and then no other people from normal time. Clemens is sick with that E3 cold. You heard him fighting last time. But big guests today. Editor-in-chief of IGN.com, Hillary Goldstein.
What's up, Beyond, folks?
And making his triumphant return to Podcast Beyond.
Return from the
Social
dead.
Media manager for PlayStation, Jeff Rubinstein.
Zombie blog now.
Zombie blog deck. You might know him as.
And I would say managed to survive E3 just like the rest of us. So
Yeah. It's good to be alive.
How'd it go for you on the industry side?
It was great. I mean, this was probably the most fun E3 that I've had since I've been with Sony. And, just great stuff on the first party side, great stuff on the third party side. I probably spent more time going around to everyone else's booth, seeing what they've got than I did spending it in our own booth. And there's just so much to play. It's going to be just an amazing year for people.
See, I think 2011 is going to be amazing. Everything you saw that was awesome at E3, 2011. I want 2010 stuff. I want stuff now, Jeff.
Well, this is the E3 disease. The real E3 disease is not what Ryan's got right now. It's wanting to play stuff that isn't out yet.
Yeah.
That is the trouble.
Or that they haven't talked about yet, like Resistance 3.
Yeah? We'll get to that. Let's just start it off like we always do.
Well, let me say, I want to say that there's like an E3 depression, don't you think? That
Yes,
sets
totally.
in. Like, you see all this cool stuff that's out there. It's like, I think we got a way better sense of the move this time out, and there's all these kind of cool games announced, and then it's like E3 ends, and it's June when no games come out, right? I mean, it's so depressing that you don't really get anything until September. And you get just 3 months where you just kind of think about how awesome gaming is going to be, but
Yes.
not how awesome it is at the moment.
But it will be awesome.
It's a good time to catch back up. I feel
Yeah.
motivated now that we've seen Infamous 2 to go back and finish up that platinum, which I was like so close.
Oh, come on. You got to get your life together.
I'm missing one shard. One shard.
Yeah, me and Colin have been there. Colin and I have been there.
Yeah, the shards were rough. I mapped them all. It
You
was
did?
fun. Yeah.
I was using your map, but somehow along the way I messed it up somewhere.
The ones you
Oh, the
pictures of?
personal ones that I
Oh,
sent
yeah.
you? The digital photos before any
I-
games
yeah.
existed yet for
Yeah,
Infamous?
well, you were America's first platinum trophy
I was
on
the world's
Infamous.
first platinum trophy. on
Wow.
Retail servers for Infamous. Yeah, that was a good one.
Well played, friend.
Yeah. You'll never have that kind of honor, Colin. How's that feel? Eats you alive,
It's
doesn't
rough.
it?
Well, when we get Infamous 2, I'll just beat you at the punch.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a challenge. I like that. And we'll see about that. Who gets the Infamous 2 platinum
I
first?
think there's a contest here.
Oh, I guarantee
Oh, for
there's
sure.
right there.
For sure.
My money's on Greg.
Yeah, mine
Thank
is
you.
too.
Yeah, all right, good. We've kind of rolled into what will forever be known as the Roper Report.
Oh.
Go ahead.
What?
Do you not want it? There's no Clements anymore. Do you want it? You're picking up the song, Torch? Time for news.
Okay.
See, it's really weird when half the room doesn't know the jingles. That's not good. Yeah, there isn't much to report in the Roper Report because mainly we cover everything's E3 hangover. You've hit the nail on the head, Hill. There's just you come to work. There's no list in your life anymore.
But
what am I going to put on top of the PlayStation page today? I don't know.
You can talk still about E3, right?
Yeah, we could. Big stuff happened. PlayStation Move coming in September now, we know for sure. Killzone will support the Move. Interesting. Patapon 3 coming in the fall. Motorstorm looks good in 3D.
It looks really good.
Really good.
We were saying that about even the demo for Pacific Rift. All of a sudden, a lot of details in the game that you're not paying attention to because you're just screaming through trying to beat 15 other guys, all of a sudden become noticeable, especially things in the background pop. And I think that game benefits really well from it.
I'm not a 3D fan, and I've always been a big naysayer of having glasses on top of my glasses in my own home. Because I always think if I was hanging out playing games with Greg, not that we ever would because we don't like each other. But,
No, we hate each other.
But if one day there was a peace accord, and we hung out, we started playing games together, I wouldn't want to do something cool in a game and then turn to Greg and look at him with his dumb glasses and me and my
Yeah,
dumb
right.
glasses and be like, in your face. Because, I mean, we both would look like Geordie LaForge, you know?
Yeah.
So...
Who was the coolest guy from Next Generation? What do you want to look like? Data? Come on. Start drinking more.
Data got more action, though. I'll say that much.
Well, that one episode. Oh my God, what
You guys are
podcast is
nerds,
this?
Man, this is worse than the usual podcast. I got Ryan with anime, Colin with politics.
But that said, I will say that when I saw Motorstorm and played it in 3D, I changed my mind a little bit. That's the first, and I think really only game that I've played in 3D, including 3DS stuff that I've seen in 3D where I was like, dude, I would put on glasses and hope somebody bought me a 3D TV to play this game in 3D, I would actually not want to play it as much in 2D. Like I would really want to play it in 3D. I thought it's like a showcase for like how 3D games should be made.
I think this E3 really changed people's minds from just being completely ambivalent to 3D or maybe mildly curious to starting to wonder, all right, well, let me at least take a look at how much a 3D TV is going to cost, because now we've shown that if you get a 3D TV, you have to have a PS3, because there's no other device that takes care of you from games and movies, and you've already got it. There's not any extra charge, once you've got that 3D TV to be able to play these games. Games you already have, you'll be able to play.
Jeff, you're on the inside. How much longer do we have to wait for 3D TVs to start dropping in price? I remember when flat screens came out, super expensive, but then they nosedive pretty quick. Right around the corner, it would seem like it was done.
Well, I don't work for electronics.
Jeff, come on. You're on the inside. I know.
I really don't even know how much they cost, but I always was told it's a few $100s more than a comparable, top quality flat screen. Whether or not I haven't seen them.
I'm pricing one right
just
now for
starting
the
to come
IGN
out.
office.
Yeah?
I'm looking at 40 inches right now at about $2,000.
It's not bad, really.
It's not terrible.
When plasmas first came out, they were like
True.
$8 or $9 grand for that size.
And they weighed a gajillion pounds.
They did indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me ask this question, because I was surprised. The one surprise I had from Microsoft was that they didn't talk at all about 3D. I mean, I think that was the one thing I was expecting. They've got to jump into the 3D race. Were you guys surprised that they didn't have anything about 3D at all?
Honestly, not really. I think when you have first of all, you need HDMI, you need the advanced HDMI to do it. So how many of those Xboxes out there don't have an HDMI
Does
port?
the new
A lot of
Xbox
them.
Stump have it?
Yeah, is that what it's called? The
I like that. I like what you did there.
I like that too.
But you've got fragmentation, and we don't. Every PS3 out there has a hard drive. Every PS3 out there has HDMI, and it's firmware upgradable to the latest version of HDMI, which will be able to stream that across. And so you're already set. Plus, the Blu-ray player. You're not going to be able to watch a 3D movie, I don't think, on DVD.
And every PS3, of course, is backwards compatible for the PS2. Oh, wait! Don't tell me no fragmentation, Rubens.
It's not like the Xbox 360 where you can play any PS2 game on the 360. So it's completely backwards compatible.
That's the 3D I'm waiting for, when I can go back and play Shadow of the Colossus in 3D. That's what I'll be all about. Where was that announcement? Let's talk a little bit about the missing in action games of E3.
Yeah.
Let's.
Where was my Last Guardian? Where was my... I've heard so much about this Team Eco collection.
How long do you want the press conference to be? All we got was complaints that we're missing show floor time. We packed it in there. We talked about
It was a dense...
so many games. We even announced God knows how many games going into E3, and we still had a long press conference. I mean, I think we talked about quite enough to keep people busy.
All right, have it your way. You could have dropped the Coke bit and then just had my Shadow.
Yes.
Hey, you didn't know Sly Collection was coming, did you?
No.
That's a pretty nice
I
surprise.
thought it was going to be the Ratchet collection.
Yeah?
Yeah, but no.
But let me ask this question, right? I mean, do you want another game talked about that's not coming out this year? I mean, I thought that was the one thing I took away from this year's E3 is that there's a whole lot of games coming out in Q1 2011.
Sly's coming out this year, yeah?
But I might not live till then.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
Yeah.
anything
You
can
gotta live
happen.
for today.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're going to live to see Gran Turismo 5. That is hitting.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah.
Oh, November 2nd is the first time
Okay,
we've
they
given it.
finally put a real date on it, sure.
You're going to see it.
I believe it. No, I think it'll be there.
And it's stunning 3-dimensional.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, Colin.
3 whole dimensions.
Whoa.
Mhm.
Wow.
Also, no resistance. You already mentioned this.
Yeah,
But
depressing.
I told you ahead of time.
Yeah.
Don't get your hopes up. That's not gonna happen.
I mean, it makes sense with no kill. You don't want a kill zone.
Yeah, you don't
resistance
want to
crossover,
sort of-
but
They've taken the
Cancel
good first-person shooter series, and they're
Oh,
going to
that's
continue
funny.
that. Yeah, you love that. That's a good joke. It never gets old.
I'm not the only. I've been playing Resistance 2 online a lot lately.
No, you want to talk about this? Your new campaign.
Yeah.
Talk about it. What are you doing now with your Resistance 2 there?
Well, I'm
Colin?
such a Resistance 2 fan, and I always wondered why I didn't get the platinum in it. And the reason was because it takes about 500 hours to get the platinum in it. But I've resolved that I'm going to get the platinum in Resistance 2. You need to get 10,000 kills in deathmatch and like 10 million experience points in competitive play.
So how close are you right now then?
Not close.
Yeah.
Because when we first got the game, I was playing on an account at work, whatever, just messing around with online. I didn't really play. I don't really care much for online shooters, really, usually. But Resistance 2 is like so awesome, I think, that I got online, or whatever. So I'm like 700 kills and like, I don't know.
Wait, and you need to get how many kills?
10,000, yeah. And by the way, the 700 kills was over like an entire weekend.
Now, Colin, let me play psychiatrist for a
Yeah.
minute. What will earning this platinum trophy do for your life?
I don't know. If anything, it's probably going to ruin my life more. Because
Channeling Kevin Butler here.
yeah, I mean, the
stirring speech.
yeah, he said it. I mean, I don't know. We care for some reason about these
Alright.
things. You know?
Really, I think you're in the wrong room to be holding this argument.
no, he's trying to help. He's
No, I
reaching
just
out.
I'm worried. No, my thing is always I think it's great to enjoy your games, but I think that anytime, and I don't care if it's achievements or trophies, I think anytime that you sacrifice enjoyment just to earn, a little something, and you sacrifice it sounds like you're going to have to sacrifice hundreds of hours.
Yeah, probably.
And if you're doing it and you're just enjoying it, and you're not really realizing that you're getting close, but if you're only doing it because you want to get that platinum, to me, like just in general, I think that sort of kills a little bit of what gaming is about.
I think you could have made that argument for my college diploma.
Yeah.
I like my platinum trophy, my one platinum trophy, better than
Which is your one again?
Assassin's Creed 2.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What you should
got
actually
so mad at me
You
'cause
should
you
actually
told me and
print
then I went
them
and got
out
it.
and put
Yeah.
them on your wall like a diploma. I think
Yeah.
that'd be kind of awesome.
Yeah,
That would actually be awesome.
I have like
Then it'd be
12.
worthwhile.
Greg has more than I
If-
do.
Yes.
I think
do.
if you had plaques of your trophies actually on your cubicle,
We can get them made. It would be nice.
I got to
Then-
give a shout out to Will Powers, the tester.
Oh my
He
gosh.
got his, I think, 41st platinum trophy
That kid's
this week.
hardcore.
Yeah, he got it. He's
That's
got
crazy.
it in like he got it in Heavy Rain this week, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then Demon Souls. He has the platinum
Oh my
Demon
God,
Souls.
dude! I played that game
that's
forever.
impressive.
I think we hired the
That's
right guy.
impressive.
No, totally. Yeah, it was
That's
one of those
crazy.
things. If people don't remember, the tester was, the reality show there to find the next person who would test for Sony, and I had the chance to interview Will, and I thought for sure he was just going to be some schmuck. And like the first thing I asked him was like, "Oh, so how many trophies do you have?" And he had way more than me. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, he's level 18 or something
yeah, he's
like
level
that.
18 to my almost 16." So I
How
was like,
many
"Well,
platinum trophies do you have, Greg?
Oh, I don't know.
You
So
have
I don't want to.
Really?
14 or something
14,
like
that
that.
sounds
Right?
about
I have
right,
like
yeah.
12, and I think you're a little bit ahead.
I still want to double back one day for Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah, you
I'm
should.
still one trophy away in Jurassic the Hunted.
Yeah,
I
I'm-
just need to go through and do every level without dying.
Yeah, that's what I
think
need
you
to
just
do, too.
proved my argument.
Dude, I love that. That's like that meta game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I wish the PlayStation itself advertised it more. I wish that was like
Right.
connected to my. I wish
agree with
you know
that.
what I mean. Like it would be awesome to brag a bit more about that and stuff.
Yeah.
Because for the people who care, that's the best thing.
It would be
talk
nice to
about.
have rewards tied into it too, and I think that when Nintendo goes the achievement route, eventually they're gonna be the ones that do it first. To have like things on Nintendo Store, or whatever, that are gonna be, like their little swag and stuff that that they'll tie into the achievements or the trophies. It's cool. I don't know. It just adds another layer to gaming, and I think it's really fun. And it's like a strange addiction. Like we play. Like, remember how disappointed I was when I beat Rogue Warrior and I realized that the difficulty trophies didn't stack.
Yeah.
And I almost like killed
Oh,
myself.
that's the worst.
I was like, what? I beat this game on like elite difficulty, and I don't get anything for beating it on easy. It's like,
Those are the bad times.
yeah, those were bad. That was a bad weekend. and then of course, Leisure Suit Larry box off his bust.
Oh my goodness!
Which
you
terrible.
played
that
that game?
that game broke me. Like I got the platinum in it, but that was the end of that was during the Trophy Whore war.
Yeah.
Oh
and,
right.
and that
right,
was the
right.
last game I
Because you were
played.
trying to grind on it too, and you thought that would be an easy one,
Yeah.
and that one killed you.
Yeah.
Whoever won that?
Scott Bromley.
You-
Embarrassingly enough.
don't challenge him.
No, that was the problem. I said you don't play games, and he's like, "I'll show you." And he had never like played. He had no trophy.
yeah.
He started from,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
level
he had a
one,
lot
you
of
know
the.
what
I mean, a
So
lot
it
of
was
the
just like-
games you've already played.
Exactly.
Yeah, he didn't get to do. We already did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Yeah,
Yeah.
or whatever. And he didn't get to do those.
That
yet,
was
so-
such an awesome yet horrible time in our lives.
Yeah, it was.
God, I loved the thrill of chasing it and talking trophies nonstop, and then the just heartbreak of going home and playing these
Yeah.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
It
you know,
like
it's-
nearly ruined my relationship.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad. Well, yeah, you had to be like, I'm gonna ignore you for a month now,
Yeah.
and this is what's
I'm
gonna
like, I'm
happen.
sorry, and we'll eat dinner, and then I can't talk for the rest of the night.
Yeah, Christine was very good about it. She would sit next to me, like on Dante's Inferno. She sat next to me on the Dante's Inferno FAQ and would just read off where I was looking for the relics.
Oh,
That's a keeper
love.
right there.
That's
Yeah,
that's very sweet.
As far as real news from this week, DC Comics are on the PSP now. Thank God. I already downloaded Superman 700. When they start putting the Superboy comics up there, I'll be buying them
I
every
think
time.
we can all agree that DC Comics are better than Marvel Comics.
Really? I didn't think you'd agree to that.
Well, I mean, my favorite two characters are Batman and the Flash. So
Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
mean, I'm pretty sure they're not Marvel characters. So I'm gonna.
No,
have
you're
to-
right. You're
I'll
right
have
on
to
that.
Give it up for
I'll
DC.
check. But yeah. Okay, good.
I'd say Marvel does more dumb things than DC does.
Yeah,
I think we had
restarting everything.
you and I have this conversation all the time about how dumb comic books are, and
Yes.
and way too expensive now.
Oh my
Ex-
God.
Unless you get them digitally.
Exactly. Well, not
Which is-
and they're doing a bunch of different pricing structures. With
Yeah.
like it's $2.99. It's the cover price if you buy it day and date. But then after, I think Jim Lee said after 2 weeks or 4 weeks, I forget, they're gonna drop to $1.99. There's also a bunch of free ones out now. They're trying to keep it going.
I think eventually they're both are gonna have to move to like a subscription based thing. I mean, whether it's buying it on an iPad or
Yeah.
getting it on PS3, but I think they're gonna have to go to something where it's just like I pay a certain flat fee every month and I can just basically read whatever new comics I want. I don't think they're gonna survive even doing $2 a comic. It's just too expensive.
Yeah, I agree. That's the thing, right? I want to keep reading books, but I don't want to have a collection, and I don't want to spend that much money. You know what I mean? Like I only buy trades right now of Walking Dead, even though I love Walking Dead. But
That's a great comic, right?
so
there.
Yeah.
good.
Are you excited for that AMC miniseries?
I am. I hope it turns into a real series. Yeah. I'm gonna when I get the official. We don't have a date yet on when Walking Dead's coming to AMC. Do we?
I think it's just fall.
All right. When that happens, I'm calling Comcast, making sure I get the package that I don't currently have AMC, but I'll pony up the money for it then. Hillary, turn on your mic. Go like this.
You want me to turn it into myself?
Yeah.
Really, I'm usually too
There
loud.
we go. I know, and that's why it was really weird that you were so quiet.
Yeah.
You're still real quiet, but you're coming through.
Maybe I'm just subdued.
Oh, okay, maybe. Whatever.
Taste it.
Sonic games are on sale. Are you excited?
Yes. Well, no.
It's not episode 4.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited if episode 4 were suddenly on sale.
Yeah,
but
right.
That's not.
PSN just won over Xbox Live. Deathspank is coming a day early on July 13th. So suck it, Microsoft. That's
So
what you get.
We also had the Battlefield Bad Company
yeah,
DLC
that
pack,
came
yeah.
out early too. That was
Moving to Tuesday was just great.
what was
that's
the
what
thought
people
process
wanted.
behind that? Was it try to get in front of them, or just to have it day and date with?
I
other
don't know
games?
I don't know the full process, but I knew that a lot more games were having stuff available on Tuesday when the games, the Blu-ray games shipped.
Yeah.
And we would have to make special publishes to get certain things out there
Right.
at like midnight on Tuesday or whatever it was. So now everything's just hitting when the retail stuff hits, and it just makes sense because there's a lot
It
of
does.
day one DLC out these days.
Don't you feel that the future is going to be that the idea of saying retail versus downloadable or digital is just sort of going to go away? It's not going to be like, oh, this is a download game or this is a retail game. I think people are just going to be like, it's a game. They might have different price points.
I think
but
it's more complicated than that.
people like to own stuff. I mean, I like to go to a game store and
Yeah.
That's
have,
why we
like,
buy
the
special
package.
editions, right? Because you want
Yeah.
the extra
Yeah.
junk. You
I
wanna
think
put it on your
people in
desk.
like our generation and yours,
Jeff
still
was
like,
pointing
still
to
like some-
Colin, who's
yeah,
very
old
young.
man Jeff over there.
I know.
Zombie Blognax, 55.
But a lot of people really don't want to. You have a definite division. We see it on the blog, and some people are like, oh, I wish that was. I want physical media only. And then there's other people like, I don't want to get out of my house. I just want to get the game.
Right, yeah.
So I think really supporting both is going to be that way for the foreseeable future.
PlayStation Plus.
Yes,
That's coming out next week. It's
That
our
is
topic
coming
of
out
the
on
week.
the
though.
29th. Yep.
So there you go. We slid it into the Roper Report, teasing another segment.
Wow.
And we
well
have
done.
some sad Infamous news.
What?
This comes from a reader in the field named Tim Doyle. He went to GameStop, wanted to buy Infamous, had put it off forever, grabs the used copy, sees the price tag's $27, and says, I could rip off the company, but I'd personally like to say, give them the $3. So I told the store rep that he can keep the used copy, and I'd take the new copy. He then asked me where I could find out about upcoming PlayStation games on all 3 platforms.
You can go to the official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors.
Ooh. Greg, are you less suicidal now about Infamous 2 having played it at E3?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we didn't cover this in the Roper Report, but we talked about it. We couldn't talk about this last week. All
Yeah,
right,
we
hold on.
couldn't.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
We're doing a joint topic of the week. Colin, what do we got coming to stores this week?
I forgot to write everything down, but
You mother. Oh my
well,
God.
we're 2 weeks behind actually, so we have a few games to. 'cause
But
we-
nothing really came out last week.
No, nothing really came out this week except for Transformers.
And
Well,
then,
let's say-
Arthur liked that a lot.
let's-
Yeah,
Yeah,
Let's say right now you can get into the Medal of Honor beta. It's not available on
Absolutely.
360 because they can't get their crap together.
Beyond.
So you can get it on PC, or if you don't have a $3,000 rig, you can get it on PS3.
Beyond.
Damn right.
Beyond.
That game is awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
so-
huge fan. Did
yeah.
you played at E3? Did you win your round?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the ballistic sunglasses.
No, I didn't. So
Well,
I
then
played.
you
I played
didn't
at a
win.
pre-E3 event.
Faking it.
Ah.
Faking it.
I won the 2 rounds that I played at pre-E3 event. I didn't actually play it at E3. Now I'm bummed that I didn't win something.
Yeah.
But it is really good. It's it's like a nice merger of sort of Call of Duty and Battlefield Bad Company 2. So if you can't decide which, or you and your friends argue about which one is better, I'd say Medal of Honor is sort of like the perfect marriage of both.
It's got a great feel to it.
Yeah.
It just the weapons have like a weight to them, and you feel like it's an impact when you're shooting guys.
I'd say that's probably going to be, certainly probably going to be the multiplayer game of the fall. And that's from somebody
Really?
who played the Halo at E3, and I would definitely say
You're
Medal of
aware
Honor.
that Metal Gear Peace Walker will still be out then, so people. Still
Oh
play
man, that game is so
multiplayer.
awesome.
How far are you in that right now?
I'm not terribly far because unfortunately I made the mistake of buying Puzzle Quest 2 on DS the other day, and so I think I've actually played 10 hours in the last day. But I'm through like the first sort of chapter area, I guess.
Okay,
I haven't really thought about how it's segmented, but
Yeah, it's hard.
that game is really fun. And it's nice to see after Metal Gear 4, which I liked, but it's so very little of it is stealth based.
Mhm.
To see a game that's so heavily stealth based back in the Metal Gear franchise is great. It's a great looking game, plays really well. Love it on my go. Yeah, it's awesome.
I think we should get everybody together to take on some of the boss battles.
That's a good idea. Maybe we will get some people together. Maybe we'll hear more about
When
that soon.
let me ask this, Greg, since you've beaten it, I know that there are points where it's impossible to beat it alone, or some people say that.
Yeah.
Like when does that happen?
It depends who you are. A lot of
Okay.
people early on that when I was at a review event kind of thing with a whole bunch of other outlets, and they all had problems like with the second tank and stuff like that, like the lower level guys. And then my only problem I had was when I had to fight the final boss machine, which won't surprise you once you get there. But I mean, when I fought him for the second time, like you do every Metal Gear, I had to get help because it took forever.
I mean, so far the only problems I've honestly had is when I try to get too cutesy. When I'm fighting the second tank and I'm like, well, maybe I could lead these guys into this warehouse and knock them out and then zip them up and capture them.
Yeah.
You know, so when I'm trying to be like cute about it, that's when I would get myself killed.
I think that's when people run into is that they overthink it. Like we did a strategize on it a couple weeks ago, and that's a game of angles. If you are getting into trouble, there are plenty of places you can hole up where you can block incoming fire from a tank or whatever machine you're against, and then knock out guards or take them out. You know what I mean?
I'd say the other thing, I mean, and you mentioned this in your review, is one of the problems with the game is just that it doesn't do a very good job sort of explaining itself to you. So it doesn't explain. It tells you that you can either destroy the tank or kill the soldiers, but it doesn't tell you that it's way more beneficial just to kill the soldiers.
Totally.
I didn't know for a while that I could actually capture the machines by not destroying them.
Yeah.
So I thought I would get some benefit, but because it would be harder to kill the tank. So I was throwing myself out there doing everything I could to try to destroy the tank and not kill the soldiers, which made it way harder.
Yeah.
And then when I finally just killed all the soldiers, I noticed that I had a tank now in my inventory, and I'm like, wait, why wouldn't the game tell me I want this?
Yeah, it seems like they could have held your hand a little bit better on that, and a couple stuff like that in general.
But it is awesome.
So yeah, we missed Toy Story 3 as well. That
Yeah,
came
I was
out.
gonna say Toy Story 3 came out last week, I think.
That was also Anthony liked
Anthony
it.
liked it. Yeah, I don't know.
You'll give that an 8.0, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think he got
and
that too.
Transformers got a 9. So
Transformers is out now.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm playing that on my PS3.
There you are.
That's right.
All right.
To hell with you, Xbox 360.
You've changed. You've changed your ways.
Yeah,
E3 did well for you.
No, I mean,
And even before that, you.
I like the PS3. I would still say that I think the 360 controller is. I still like the thumbsticks better for first-person shooters. I'm sorry, that's just the way I am. But yeah, I thought Transformers it's really fun. If you are a Transformers fan, it's like it can't miss.
Big question: how are the trophies? This can be trophy just a tip. This is a very
So
conversation.
I don't.
Yeah.
We're off.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So
I'm throwing the rule book out the window.
and I know that I'm sitting in the midst of 3 trophy horrors.
Yeah.
So I got ruined on trophies and achievements at GDC because I sat in on a panel where somebody basically just went on and on about sort of the issues that come of rewarding people in that way. And the more I thought about it, the more I sort of realized that like achievements in particular, which I had been chasing for a long time, were actually killing my enjoyment. So I've turned off the achievement notifications on my 360. I don't think you can turn off
you can't.
Yeah, they
trophy
pop up,
notifications, but
That's what you'd want to.
yeah,
exactly.
but I
Why
don't
would-
check.
We've never had that request.
but I don't check. So I don't check what the trophy achievements are for Transformers. And when I've gotten the trophies, I mean, I get the little ding and stuff, but I don't even look up there because I played all the way through Red Dead on 360. I'm sorry to say. Well, I didn't get a PS3
No,
copy.
no.
I didn't get a
Dial
PS3.
it back.
You didn't get the extra hideout and outfit either.
That's true.
I was the fact that Red Dead the trophies are so hard. Like you don't get
Yeah.
it till the very
Yeah.
end.
So-
Like in the beginning, it's like so.
So like
nothing.
honestly, like I played the entire game without the trophies, and like for me personally, I don't hold it against anybody else who enjoys going after that stuff. But for me personally, like I found myself liking the game a lot more, not having the stress of doing challenges that are outside of the norm of the game just to get a trophy. Like I did the stuff that's built into the game. Like I thought it was fun trying to do all the hunts and get all the treasure chests and all that kind of stuff. And if that stuff was tied to trophy or achievements, I didn't even know.
So the thing I like about it is it makes me try elements of the game that I
Right.
might not have
Totally.
ordinarily done.
And I've
I
heard
think-
that before too.
Yeah, and I think that's a great thing because
I
it
agree.
really games are so deep now
Yeah.
compared to the way they were when we were kids, and there was just one way to play through, and you could theoretically buy a game and see everything it has to see in 2 hours. I mean, now there's so much that you need to have that incentive to get people to try every single mode.
I agree.
See, and I would agree if you're playing Infamous or a game that you really love and want to play through. Like if you want to play Uncharted 2 and get all the platinum, I think that's great. It's an amazing game. But I've also in this podcast we've heard Colin talk about some terrible games
Yeah, Ice
that
Age
that he has played just to get. And so that's where I go. That to me is always the step where I
There
go.
totally is like a dulling effect to it. I see both sides of the argument. I love trophies, never stop. But there's totally moments where I'm playing great games and I'm like, man, I haven't got a trophy in a while. Like Red Dead, you know what I mean? Like you're playing and like there's very specific things you have to do, and then at the very like back end of the game, you start getting paid off with trophies and stuff. But in the beginning, it's like, man, why am I not getting trophies for this? And like you shoot somebody, and I remember there being a lot of talk about shooting a guy's hat off. So I finally did it, and I waited, and there was nothing, and it said, home avatar. And I'm like, I don't want that.
But I would. My one argument to the point of that it gives you more to explore in the game is that great game designers will build into the game itself without the need for a trophy queue to get you to want to explore those avenues of the game. Like I think Red Dead actually is a great example that if that didn't have trophies or achievements, the game itself is built in a way that, you just want to explore and do all those little things that you would have done to get the trophies anyway. So I think that if you have games that are built in that way, it's not a requirement that you hunt the trophies because the game itself is rewarding.
Well, it's never a requirement. I think it can complement great game design. And if you were to look at Red Dead, I think it essentially has meta challenges in it anyway. You're hunter level 8 or 9, and then if you fully max that out, then you'll end up getting a trophy. But I think it's the same mechanism. You still wanted to keep leveling up. Like anytime I was out there shooting animals, I was like waiting for the cursor to go saving because then I knew I hit the next the next
That's the
level.
most defeating moment when you've just killed like 3 cougars in a row and then something kills you and you're like, oh no, none of that saved.
I was so proud that I found like the great cougar cheat in the game, so it made me feel proud for myself.
Wait, what's this?
What is it?
There's just like there's like a easy spot to get the 2 cougar kills.
Oh, really?
And to save yourself. Yeah. So it's like they strike from behind. So I don't even remember that name. I think it might be Gaptooth Ridge, maybe. I don't remember. I can show you on a map, Colin, if you're ever interested. But there's a spot where you can go where there's basically anytime you see like you ever come across those campgrounds where there's like the fire is gone but nobody's there. That basically means a cougar ate them at some point. And so there are actually cougars in the area. They only come up like sort of in the early morning, so like kind of from like 1 a.m. to like 8 or 9. So you basically go there, and there's like an area where you can actually get all the rocks at your back, so they can only come at you from the front, so that you can't get surprised. And then you just have to hit campground, right? And if you hit save game and then back out, it automatically jumps the game ahead 8 hours, so you can skip very quickly to a point where cougars would show up. You just have to sit and wait, and eventually one shows up, and you just shoot it. You have to use the weakest gun, shoot it once or twice. It'll limp off, and you can just run up behind it and kill it, and then you just have to watch out for its buddy. But I found out the other cool thing is that if a cougar is about to jump on you, if you press the back button or the select button, it brings up your items. If you instantly go to the campground, the cougar attack doesn't actually you'll actually be covered in blood, but it won't actually hurt you. And then you can back out of the campground and you won't be hurt at all. So you can cheat it when you're about to get killed.
Cool. Nice. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Well
I think everybody's gotten that achievement by now.
You should start doing strategize.
Yeah.
Hired.
I used to.
Yeah.
That was my
Back in the
old
day.
calling. Yeah, back in the day.
Zombie Blogneck, you're in the room. What came to the PlayStation Store this week?
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think we might have mentioned earlier the Battlefield Bad Company DLC, the co-op pack for Red Dead. That's free, so that's a great reason to jump back in there and start playing that. I've been working my hands to the bone cranking out minis for you, Greg Miller.
Thank you.
I think we've probably had 35 or 40 in the last 2 months. I mean, it's been like 4 or 5, and there's some nice gems in there.
You're doing a nice job.
Thank you for bringing them all out right at E3 too. It was like super hard to get to them. And see them.
You're traveling, so I figured it's just a good game for you to jump into. It's only an hour flight down to LA.
Yeah, exactly.
We had you taken
4
care
or
of.
5 on the way there.
My wife's making me download the Miley Cyrus tracks on Rock Band this week.
Nice.
Yeah, you are.
And it's up there on the blog. You can bring that up.
Go to the PlayStation blog, the official PlayStation blog. What's the URL on that one if people want to go check it
out? Just Google search PlayStation blog.
Okay.
Much
Don't go to the
easier
Europe
that way.
one. Don't go to the Europe one.
It looks nicer.
That one
don't
comes.
say that.
That one comes
No,
up first, I
we're
think.
gonna do a redesign. Once we saw theirs, theirs came out 2 years after ours did, and it's definitely Web 3.0.
Does theirs have racing stripes? Is that what's the difference?
It's like it's very continental. It's nice colors and things like that. And
Because I've found that racing stripes usually add to a website's look.
I'll take my notes on that. Yeah.
Can we get into Toe? Because I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
About
Topic of the week, everybody. Next week, it's coming. the premium PSN we've been hearing about, PlayStation Plus.
Yes, sir.
The details just went live today.
Yep.
Jeff, give me the rundown. What am I getting from my money?
Sure.
And
Well,
how much money am I turning over?
Well, all right. So there's a couple different ways to do this. It's $17.99 if you want to try it out for 3 months. You can subscribe for a year for $49.99, and then you'll get an extra 3 months. So it's 15 months. It's going to pay for itself in the first month. You're just going to get tons of discounts. You're going to get free games added on. You're going to get a lot of features. We talked about before we started up here. It'll automatically push firmware updates to you
Which is awesome.
and patches and things like that. You can basically tell the PS3 that between 4 and 6 in the morning I'm never playing. It'll turn itself on, download anything if it's there, install it. No problems.
Now
You don't
this
have to
works
pop
for
a game in.
game patches, right?
Yes, sir.
So how does it just go through every game I've already played, or do you know how that works?
That's a little
that too
bit. That's a little too technical for
sorry.
me. But we can look into that and find out. And I'm excited to try that out because
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
when you pop a game in, it'd
That'll
be
be.
nice.
That's the biggest buzzkill of all time.
Yeah,
pop
you
it
have
in,
to wait, like-
there's 4 updates. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the way.
That's it. In the first month, you're going to get Wipeout HD, some PSP minis, including Field Runners and Age of Zombies, Rallycross
Two good
PS1 Classic. So another new feature is the free trial. So instead of a demo that is a selected part of a game, you're essentially downloading the game and you can just play it for a limited time.
That's cool.
Situation will vary. You're unlocking trophies. You're doing things like that. And then if you decide you want to buy the game, those trophies go into your pile, and you just continue the game from where you were.
So how is that working? Is that just PSN games like Flowers?
No, Infamous is the first one. So
Ah.
next week you're going to be able to download Infamous, this free trial, and then if you decide you want to, you can try it out, and of course you're going to like it. You can keep it.
Of course.
And
Hillary. We'll get to this in a second.
and we'll be doing stuff like that. But it's about $50 worth of material just in that first month. And there's also going to be a lot of discounts. So when you go to the PlayStation Store, it'll be sort of like when you go to the supermarket and there's these supermarket clubs, and you say, all right, if you're a member of this club, you pay this much. If you're not, you pay that much. And you'll see that on the store where it'll be, this is how much it costs you if normally, but if you're a member of PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Network Plus, bam, you're in. So, and you get that much.
Does that carry over for PSP Go as well?
It's going to be all kinds of stuff on the store. Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's going to be like 20 to 50% off selected stuff, and that'll rotate, and there'll be all kinds of different things there.
Sweet.
That sounds awesome.
So yeah, it
sounds
starts.
awesome.
You'll be able to buy it off the PlayStation Store June 29th, and we've got all kinds of questions that we know you all have been asking. We've got an FAQ right now up on the PlayStation blog. Any other questions? Go ahead and ping us. Hit us up on Twitter at PlayStation, or on that post, and we'll get these things answered for you.
Shall we ask a few right now, Greg?
Yeah, go ahead, Colin. What do you got?
Well, one thing I'm curious about is, so when you have your list of friends,
Mhm.
Is there going to be a way, something happens to your avatar or your name that calls you out as a PlayStation Plus member?
I don't think at this time. Really, it's a savings. It's a cost savings. It's sort of like buying in bulk, if you will. You're just going to save a ton of money. I don't know that it's going to make any difference to your friends or not.
I was just hoping it would have.
Colin,
like,
what's your PlayStation name right now?
Moriarty-IGN.
So why don't you become Moriarty-IGN Plus?
Oh yeah, that'd be
There you
nice.
go.
Well, I was just hoping like maybe. It would
Why
just
don't
be cool
we
to
get
have-
everybody who is subscribed to Plus
Yeah.
next week? Just add Plus to your name.
You can't do that on PS3.
What? Oh well, damn it.
Yeah, that's
It was
one-
a good idea until that point.
So one thing I asked Jeff before too is that I don't know why I assumed, but that they were going to give you the option to change your name, and that's not in the pipeline either. So.
I personally am fine with that, and I don't.
Yeah, I don't really want
I
to change
mean,
my name either.
If you
But
have a dumb name, it's your own fault for making a dumb
Well,
name.
Yeah.
you could be like me and just keep forgetting your password and just recreating
yeah, you
names.
could
Yeah,
re-
I have
recreate
like
them.
4 different PlayStation names now.
yeah, I mean, I have IGN in my name, and if I didn't work here for some reason in the future, I still would. I mean, I'm still going to be an
But
IGN
see, that was
person
your own
for-
thing.
Well, I'm still going to be an IGN person forever. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like so. I don't really. Care.
We might sue you.
Well, that's okay.
Cease and desist order.
Cease and desist and take
What
all my
about when we
trophies.
get our tattoos and then you fire us? We have to get rid of the tattoos. Then?
I'm waiting for that day. I want you, two
gotta
to get your
As
IGN.
soon as Colin gets promoted to an exec ed, we're getting our IGN tattoos.
Oh, there will be though some like premium avatars I think that are only going to be available
Okay, that's
right.
big.
for
Yeah,
Plus
that'd be
members.
easy way.
So that will be the elite way of knowing.
That's big. Yeah.
And it's it's the one PlayStation Network game, one PSN.
I don't
one
think it's
game.
locked into that.
Okay.
There might be more sometimes. So
Okay.
it's going to be fluid, but you're going to get your money's worth. I feel like every month you're going to get that $50 back plus.
I think it's a great idea personally. Like you're not losing anything
Right.
from the PS. That was the big concern. People thought you're gonna lock people out of what they already had. That's
No.
not happening. You know what I mean? Like
If you're happy, completely content with the way things are right now, nothing changes.
Yeah.
We're not charging for online gameplay.
It just seems to me like I buy a lot of PSN games, you buy a lot of PSN games, so the discounts for us will be incentive enough. But I guess if you're a more casual PlayStation user, you play only retail games, maybe you wouldn't have a reason to do it.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's seems like a nice idea.
I want the.
I'm anxious to try it
I
out.
want some Patapon avatars.
Yeah, the avatars
Get
will be
those in
nice.
there. Get your wife working on those. You work on the.
Yeah,
minis.
yeah.
She's
I'll
working
keep up with the minis. We'll
Alright,
crack them out.
Sounds good. Hill, anything on this before we close it out? What do you think of this premium PSN?
I think it's great in that it doesn't change what was already free.
Yeah.
And that was like the big concern, that it was going to go the Microsoft route and require people to pay to play online, which I think is terrible. So yeah, no, works out fine.
Yeah, I was having that conversation actually. It was that I still believe that PlayStation 3 set a precedent that I think we're going to teeter more towards free expectations with online play as the future wears on or whatever.
I hope so.
I really think so. I mean, I don't understand why you'd pay $50 to just to play a game online, which is...
So my argument for that, and the reason why I don't think Microsoft would change, is that people have, right? So I think it would be, I think, very difficult for Sony to change now, 4 years in and go like, oh, by the way, now you have to pay for the service we've always promised free. I think in the same way, it's very hard for Microsoft to look at the revenue it gets from however many Xbox Live Gold members they have and go, well, we'll just give it to free now because that's how it should
Right.
be. I think I think for them, they're going to try to find more ways to offer better services for the money that they're charging, not to make it free.
Like
Right.
that ESPN thing?
Yeah, I think
that's pretty big.
I think so. Well, but I'm going to say, though, right now, as cool as that was and people were very excited about it, I'm going to say that you can do that right now on your computer. ESPN3.com, that's all it's using. It's ESPN3.com is ESPN's basically online channel, and you can watch tons of sports games for
But
free.
now I can vote on what team I like.
Well, tell me,
That's
guys.
true.
I mean,
that's true.
'cause
There's more interaction, I guess. but-
with these things, are you going to choose to not? I mean, you have to then go through your pipe, which for a lot of people varies significantly.
Yeah.
Or you can watch it in HD on cable or satellite. Are you going to choose to watch that through the Xbox?
I will, yeah.
Really?
I'm gonna.
Really?
I currently my Xbox has expired. I'm not a live member, gold or whatever right now. I'm gonna make sure I re-up it if they get it ready for football season, so I can see Mizzou games. Because even though it's an option for the computer, I just have that laptop. I don't want to, bother hooking it in or watching.
I mean, so I'm just going to say this. I mean, I would investigate very fully
Exactly. No,
what
no,
they're
yeah,
actually
yeah.
going to offer. So, I mean,
Don't get me wrong. I'm not blindly running into it.
there are a lot of agreements, especially when it comes to NCAA on
Yeah.
on sort of what can be shown on what channels. And so honestly, like I wouldn't expect that you're going to be seeing a whole ton of stuff. And I would say when you're talking about a football program like Mizzou, like I would
One of the best in the country.
exactly.
Okay.
I say like one of
We
the
were number one.
yeah, one of the premier, I think that they probably got a television deal where it's going to make it very difficult to have a ton of games.
Keep in mind, the conference is exploding as we speak.
This is true.
Who knows what's going
This
to
is
happen?
true. I think that's actually going to make it harder. So I mean, like for anybody out there who is considering that, and I don't know why we're talking about this on a PlayStation
Well, we got
podcast,
the AI. Well, it's interesting to touch on.
but I would just say that sometimes you have to be very careful about what people charge for a service, because it really is ESPN3.com. So like you can get a lot of this on your computer already without having to pay a dime. So I kind of like not having to pay for stuff. I don't know how other people feel about it.
Exactly.
We'll investigate.
But I love the idea of having a service where it's optional and it's much more about sort of discounts. So it actually is for the people who, it's like if, we know that there's sort of like this sort of core audience that plays PS3 games and PSP games that
Yeah,
that
Colin.
actually buy in such a volume that it would be beneficial for them.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great benefit to them. And it's basically a reward for them for being loyal. I think that's like an awesome thing.
It's
Whereas
definitely very nice.
Microsoft's is almost punitive. Like if you don't subscribe,
You've
we're
got to wait
punishing
for
you.
demos, or you've
Yeah.
got to, and we're
Yeah.
not going to be doing that either. So
It's cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I just wish, like I said earlier, it would be really cool to tie in more incentives to chip away at maybe the cost of this, or like just more incentives with the things you do in game or whatever. Select a game a month that's like ridiculous, and if you get the platinum trophy, you get like a free game on PSN or something. I like that kind of stuff. It would be nice.
You want to run like a clubhouse? Like,
It would be
you,
so cool.
You and I were running.
'Cause I'm telling you,
PSN,
I'm
we
telling
had
you,
we're
15
gonna
subscribers.
keep looking at suggestions, and,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna plug PlayStation Blog Share. We're gonna want your suggestions.
Totally.
We do read that internally, and this is something that's going to change. The PSN has changed significantly, since
Certainly
the PS3 came out almost 4 years
That's
ago.
the beauty of firmware. It's always changing. You can do whatever you want to it.
I know because I'm always updating it.
Because you don't turn on enough.
It's true.
But we'll be
Yeah.
looking to add services to this. There's no way. I would imagine that a year from now, that it's going to be exactly what it is at launch.
Obviously, yeah. Good. That toe is closed. Real
Toe.
quick toe to open though. Infamous 2.
Yeah.
We previewed the preview.
We did
last
preview the
time.
preview.
Now we can talk about it.
Uh-huh.
We all of us have seen it. You've seen it as well,
Yeah.
right? Have you played a little bit of it?
I have not yet. I'm waiting to get my code.
Okay. Colin and I have played.
Yep.
It plays like Infamous.
It does.
It looks like Infamous when
It
it's in
does look like
motion.
Infamous.
That's the best part. That's what we lost in these still screens. I don't know if you followed it. There was heartbreak and
I
terror
followed
over
it.
here.
Suicide Watch.
Yeah, there was Suicide Watch.
We had
It
to
was
take
Colin.
away Greg's shoelaces so he didn't hang himself. It
Yeah.
was tough times.
Because those screenshots in Game Informer, they looked super clean. They looked like a different game. In motion, looks a lot like
Yeah.
Infamous. The animations are there. The destructible environments they've added are awesome. Like, the powers look cool.
Yep.
I'm still not sold on ice powers. I'm still not sold on Cole's new look. But the big thing Sucker Punch talked about during the demo we got behind closed doors was, that they are still at least a year out and that anything can happen. They're taking
And they're
everything under
totally reading
advisement.
feedback. Like we had them. They put a post up right as soon as the press conference was over, showing the trailer and just talking about where they're at. And I mean, they were sitting there. We came back we had this behind the scenes area where people could just prep. They were reading all the comments and taking notes, and that stuff's really important to them. And they want to hear this feedback. And you're at a point in development where it's not fully locked in. But the good things are, just from hearing from guys like you and other media, is that it feels awesome. And
Gameplay is king, is the Colin wrote
yeah.
this thing.
Yeah, gameplay is king, and it still plays. Infamous was the best game in 2009 in my opinion, easily, and Shadow Complex being a close second, of
I
course.
love that game so much.
And I wish we would get that on PS3, but obviously that's not gonna happen. So I think that's what matters the most. The aesthetics of the game are different, and we don't like them. I mean, I think that's pretty clear. Like, Zeke looks dumb, and
See, I
Cole
thought
looks
Zeke
dumb.
looked better in motion. Zeke looked fine to me. In the concept art, again, a still
Right.
photo, his gut was way too big, and they put like pubes on his face, like
Yeah.
they look boy pubes. But in the cutscene, he was fine. In the cutscene, it looked like Zeke just in a different shirt, and I was fine with it.
And it's like what we said to
do you
to
want
Sony.
approval on all his clothing choices?
Yeah, I do.
now?
I would like. You understand this will influence my Halloween costume for years out. I need to know ahead
Maybe
of
we
time.
can do DLC for a Mizzou shirt.
Oh, there you go. Oh my God. I would explode.
But like we said to Sony PR whenever we were there, and we were talking to them. I said, the Game Informer piece and the images that were in that article are a complete misrepresentation of that game, and it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like it did in the images, and they didn't really talk much about the fluid gameplay and how it felt a lot like the first one. It just seems like they left a lot of things out that would have put our minds at ease.
Well, and keep in mind too that Game Informer works on a way different schedule. They saw that game months and months ago, way before the E3 demo was ready. So I mean, it was just how it came into be. You know what I mean?
But they were very friendly. We talked to Nate Fox for a long time.
Nate's
he was,
awesome.
He
Yeah,
was very
Sucker Punch
friendly.
is a great
Yeah,
studio.
they were really nice and they were friendly. We talked a lot about the game. I'm confident that the game is going to end up being as good, or if not better, than the first one. So
I'm actually somewhat happy that they made some changes, only so that I could witness the two of you freak out so much. Because I've never actually seen any kind of reaction like this in the office, which is pretty crazy.
like when we're sending chain emails, but only Greg and I are answering them about how much we hate Infamous 2 and the look of Infamous 2 and how we're suicidal about it.
Yeah, and then you guys, you provide me with opportunities to send really funny responses to both of you talking about what
Now,
losers
now
you
Hillary,
are.
you saw there, and the thing about it though is you weren't huge on Infamous.
So I mean, and this is why I wanted to see it at E3 was that I actually was one of the people who, and there was a few people in the office who, like, I played the first hour and a half or whatever Infamous 1, and I was like, not into it, and I gave up. And I remember people saying, like, no, you just got to stick with it. But, I'm a busy guy. At the time, I was running a 360 channel, so I had a lot of other stuff on my plate, like 360-wise. So I was like, I don't have time for this. If a game can't get me in the first half hour, like, I'm moving on because I got plenty of games to play. So I never...
A giant explosion leveling a city, not cool. Yeah,
Nah.
running around, you got your electricity
some
powers.
Some games don't
Got
really...
a cool guy that looks like Greg and
And I kept doing the thing where I'm like, well, at holiday time when I'm on break, like I'm going to go back and then, whatever else happens and you end up not kind of doing that. So
Hey, we can bring it back a little bit so you can get the free game trial on
exactly.
PlayStation Plus
Yeah.
next week. You can try it out for more than a half an hour.
Well, you're
Nice.
you're
But- but
technically
I
on
haven't.
vacation right now.
yeah, so I'm actually, I just started up again. So,
Okay, good.
So I'm playing through the first one again because the second one got me really excited. So I don't have the hang-ups that you guys have about the character design or whatever because, I mean, I do know the plot twist and stuff like that, so I can understand why, like, all this sort of upsets you as super fanboys of the game. But like, for me personally, like, I mean, I never had those connections. So when I see the character, I'm just like, whatever, character design. But I mean, when I saw the game in motion, I mean, I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait to play it, and it's yet another game you got to wait until 2011 to
Yeah.
to play. Like I feel like I want to be Eric Cartman and just freeze myself for like a few months and then thaw out, and there's just gonna be so many amazing games next year. But I was blown away. I thought that was one of the best demos at E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game looks stellar, and I'm really into the Southern Gentleman Bertrand.
Yeah.
That guy's
Yeah, that's
really
cool.
cool. That guy's really cool. I like how there's really more. It seems like it's gonna be more focused on this
Yeah.
one guy and the militia and his want to free numerae of like.
So the second game got me excited to go back and actually play through the first game.
That's good.
So-
That's always a good
And then
note,
maybe after I do that, I'll come in and be like, "What are they doing with this character design?"
Oh no! Oh god!
I don't know, what did I do?
I don't
Greg?
know. You shrunk. Kept recording, but you shrunk GarageBand.
That's right. The power of my fists on the table can actually
I've seen
shrink.
it stop it. I've seen slamming fists stop the thing in cold in its tracks.
And
Oh,
as our-
bless you, Apple, on your Macintosh.
Also, as our preview mentioned, we don't know for sure, but there was an insinuation that your save from First Infamous might work on the Second Infamous.
yeah.
So
That's,
you're gonna want to have
that's
that.
sort of the future, isn't
You're
it?
gonna want to have Well, obviously BioWare does it
That's
so
how it should be
elegantly.
done.
It's
That's
so
how it should be
elegant.
done. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
I don't know that anybody's gonna do it to the level that
Yeah.
BioWare is doing it with the Mass Effect trilogy, because that's
There were so
really
many choices.
involved.
There were so many choices.
Yeah, and it's the entire game is about choice. That's what makes the game exciting. It's not quite as much so in Infamous, but I think it's cool anytime that you can reward people who have played the first game, even if it's something small. Like I remember, wasn't it Ratchet 2 that actually could read your save and actually would give you some of the weapons unlocked when you started playing? I'm pretty sure it was either Ratchet 2 or Ratchet 3. But I mean, and that was like probably one of the first games that did it. And I mean, I
Going
just
back to
think all that
Metal
stuff's
Gear.
cool.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
Metal
Gear
Gear.
too.
You're
Yeah.
like Castlevania.
And As All Dreams.
I remember Banjo-Kazooie the second one was supposed to do it, and they couldn't get it to work right. It was really weird. So it was supposed to be like a swap play right, because you didn't really have a memory card because it was all cartridge saves on the N64. So what you had to do was you put in Banjo-Kazooie, you loaded up your save, then you had to pull it out and shove in Banjo-Tooie like in the span of about 5 seconds before like the memory cache cleared, and then boot it up, and then it would actually carry over some items for you. But they ended up dropping it because they realized that was actually
was
one of
dumb.
the
Yeah, you
dumbest
probably break your
implementations
N64.
ever.
Break your N64, bro.
All right.
All right, well there we
We
go.
got a lot done here. In
That was a
Topic of the
good.
Week.
That was a good second tough.
We've said a lot though. This show. It's time to let the readers have their say.
Yeah.
And reader mail,
Reader mail maelstrom.
mail call,
Mail-archy.
mail pattern baldness. That's
Oh,
always
okay.
one of my favorites.
That Pat Barno said it.
There's some news for you. I know you're not an avid Beyond listener, Hillary. You're a busy man, like you said.
I don't listen to podcasts. It's nothing personal.
No, I know. No, I wasn't leading into attack. A few weeks ago, we had a TRL member on. I can't remember who anymore though. Do you remember?
TRL member.
Claimer, maybe?
No.
Anyways, Mary Boff Kill was somebody
That
put in a
is-
question.
Who the
for
hell
them.
was it?
I don't know.
Mary,
Anyways,
Mary Boffkill is probably the only good
Charles.
segment of the
Charles.
Red Lights.
And now it's come over here. Now every week we choose one Mary Boff Kill. This one comes from Deathly_Hollows. He says Mary Boff Kill. This is for the room.
Jeff, you
So-
understand how this game works?
Yeah, not so much.
Oh really? Okay.
uh,
So I'm gonna read 3 things. You have to decide which you'd marry, which you'd boff,
Ah, yeah,
and which you'd
gotcha.
kill. Okay, yeah. The boff part.
I was like,
throws you off, but
who's
we're
Mary Boffco?
we're
Is she
peachy.
is she the one who checked me in when I got to the office?
That should be my new
Nice.
PSN name.
Mary Boff Kill,
Oh, nice.
Move,
Mm.
Connect,
Mm-hmm.
3DS.
Oh, that
this
is
a
that
good
is
one.
actually
That's a really
brilliant.
good one,
This is
right?
a good one.
Fresh off of
yeah.
E3, yeah.
I'll go first since I knew this was coming up ahead
Okay.
of time. I would boff 3DS because right now she's the hottest girl. Everybody's talking about her. No, everybody wants to say something about her.
She's in 3D.
Exactly, I guess. Sure. The Metal Gear looks so good in that. Gosh. I would marry PlayStation Move. I think it's the solid technology. I think it's going to put out a lot of good stuff. And I would kill Kinect because not only would they not let me in to see the demos, I waited in line and they said, "I'm sorry, we're full. You
Yeah,
can come back tomorrow, maybe."
Yeah, they didn't let us in.
I just didn't see anything there that really did it for me.
Nah, they have no games that anyone cares about anyway.
Hill, what do you got?
Well, first of all, I'm going to
You're
disagree.
gonna, no, you can't.
No. The only thing I'm going to say
Child of
is that Child of Eden. I think. Well, first of all, I mean it's coming to PS3 also, so you don't have to
and
worry.
I think it'll have Move. I bet. I bet they'll
It
put
makes
Move.
sense, but I think when I saw Mizuguchi switch from playing like hands free and then playing sitting with the controller, like it looks so much cooler to be playing that game actually like shooting with your hands. I thought that was cool, and I think the dance game is pretty much the only example of like the way that Kinect games should be made. I mean, really, like most of those games and the way they demo them, they're not for gamers like us. Like, yeah, exactly. But I mean, to me, it's like a dance game without any controllers, and it's done by Harmonix, so you know it's solid. Like, that was a lot of fun. That was brilliant, and I'm a terrible dancer, and I loved it.
All right.
So that would be the only one that I'd take away where I'm like, I would think about getting Kinect just for Dance Central.
Yeah.
I don't know that I.
How much would you play it though?
That's the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Mary Buff kill.
But so I would kill Kinect as well because I mean the sports game and the adventure games just were terrible. So yeah, I would probably kill off Kinect, and really I don't want to pay that much money. And I've always been a proponent of, I think games are about having a controller in your hand,
Yeah.
sitting down and relaxing, and I like to use games as a way to sort of disconnect from my life. And I don't think that when you're out there doing, waving your hands and doing all kinds of super crazy moves and stuff like that, you're actually more conscious of playing a game when you don't have any kind of controller than you are when you have a controller. I would probably marry the Move, just like you, Greg. So
Foundation.
I'd
Wholesome
say
woman.
first of all, I actually don't think that we'll be comparing Kinect and Move as much going forward, because I think they're trying to do totally different things. Like the Move seems way more about, sort of adding something to gamers who already game, whereas Kinect is Microsoft's push to try to grab Wii gamers with like a bunch of sort of filler stuff.
Yeah.
But I thought Heavy Rain was like really cool with the Move. Like I wouldn't play SOCOM.
And you played that at a pretty funny moment at the show too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I played that. I played the rape dream scene, which was intense to play, but it was really fun. And I thought the control for SOCOM was cool. It's not like that's not how I would play shooter myself, but
we've heard a lot of people that aren't SOCOM gamers
Yeah.
on the show floor saying they really like that. I think people that have been playing SOCOM since day one, there's a good chance they're going to go with what's familiar to them, and that's why we're giving them the option. But I think people that, SOCOM's super hardcore, super elite.
Yeah.
This gives you a chance to get in there and be able to hold your own very
Michael
quickly.
actually, we're still on the Mary Buff kill question, but Michael asked this of me because I had said on both the live show and in my article that that's how I play SOCOM for it with the Move.
Really?
And it's just because I'm not super interested in third-person shooters normally, especially when they're set in a very realistic setting. You know what I mean? Like war games in general don't do it for me, but to have that ease of being able to point out headshots and
I thought it worked really well.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I like.
I think it's always hard to demo whenever you're standing up. That's
Totally.
I think
you
that's
don't have to stand up.
that's the thing.
cool
Yeah, I
too,
mean,
right?
I think that when we get like a chance to play like some of the Move games like chilled out as I would actually play games, I think you'll get sort of a better sense of how it works. But I mean, I was really impressed with the Move. I think much more so than when it was first debuted at GDC. I thought it had a very
totally.
good showing, and it definitely has a lot of potential as sort of much more of like the kind of additive thing rather than the exclusive, like if you don't have Move you're screwed kind of thing, which is what the Kinect is.
There's a lot of different
It is,
options too.
yeah.
This is something that we've got some questions because we've shown times where you've got two Move controllers, or you've got the
Yeah.
Move and you've got the navigation controller. Almost all the games, at least at launch, you can operate with just one Move controller.
And plus, if you wanted the navigation controller, you can use the DualShock you already have.
That's
which I think
absolutely
is
true.
huge.
Yeah, it is big.
Yeah, it's optional.
Agreed.
So you're
So
you're
Mary- and
boffing.
So I would boff because I think you always want to boff the hottest thing, and I think like coming out of E3, I think that was the talk of E3 was just the 3DS. I think the technology was. I mean, first of all, it was a bunch of videos.
Yeah.
Let's not oversell like it as this great thing. It was a bunch of videos with a bunch of games that nobody knows if they're actually going to exist. But I mean, man, when I saw Metal Gear, I don't care about the 3D. I turned that off. But seeing Metal Gear look that good
Yeah.
on a DS system, and I think, no offense to the PSP, which I do love my Go. We know this, but I mean that thumbstick, the analog stick on the DS is the best analog
Yeah,
stick
it
I've
was
ever
awesome.
had on a handheld. I think it's awesome. I
I'll
think-
believe it when I play something with it. None of the games I had were using it really.
Oh
Like,
really?
watched
I
a bunch
did.
of videos.
I played
didn't-
I played Pilot Wings
Pilot
with
Wings still
it
felt
and
good.
I
Star
didn't
Fox
play-
with
I
it,
didn't
and
play those.
it worked well. But I think the Metal Gear video was like, man, I just I play both DS and PSP because you need both if you play a lot of mobile games because there's just a lot of exclusive stuff on one versus the other. So you want to have the options. It's not one is better than the other. It's just you have to have both. So I think having a DS system that can go toe-to-toe graphically with the PSP is very exciting because then I can actually have Nintendo games that I'm not embarrassed to look at on a DS, that can look as good as a PSP looks. So, I mean, I know, I thought and it's hot. I mean, and plus, I'm going to do a girl in 3D more than I'm going to do, anybody else. So,
Colin, what do you got? Mary Buff kill.
I'm definitely gonna kill the Kinect.
Okay.
I'll tell you right now, that thing is gonna be a big doo 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 doo. Like I said many times on Beyond before E3 that the Kinect was gonna be out of Kinect and Move, Kinect was gonna be much better than the Move. And I said that over and over again. And after seeing both and seeing about both offered and stuff like that, like I'm totally.
so I'm
reversed.
gonna say this one thing in defense of the Kinect is that their showing was all about trying to appeal. I don't know why they thought E3 they should appeal to people who don't care about games because
That doesn't
E3
make
is a
sense.
show for gamers, not for moms and dads. So their marketing strategy doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But I still think in a year from now, like forget launch, but a year from now, when you actually have regular games that can utilize, if there are regular games that utilize Kinect as sort of like that additive thing where it adds just a little bit, sort of like the PlayStation Eye for Gran Turismo 5 will have head tracking. I think when it's, I'm still with the controller playing the normal game, but it adds something with voice recognition and those kind of things, I think then you might turn around. But it's like the games that are just using Kinect, no controllers, like they're not meant for us. So I think the fact that we're turned off on it is because they're not aiming for us anyway. And I think that the proof will be in a year from now for gamers if they're able to sort of make it like what the move seems to be, which is that it's that bonus thing.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. The proof will be in the pudding, and I do like the voice command and you navigating the menus with your hands and stuff. That's very cool.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm really into with that thing.
Unless you have an accent.
Yes.
They
I
seemed
have.
very nervous when I asked them, what if I had a very thick accent?
Are they not going to understand my tri-state
I told them my
accent?
father was from Transylvania. And they said, well, it should work. It should
But is he
work.
sitting down? Because then it won't. I'm gonna boff the move because it's cool right now,
Yeah?
and I'm interested in it. The game I really liked that I saw was the sports game, Sports Champions, I think it was called,
Yeah.
and the archery was
Archery looked
really
dope,
cool, really cool.
It was really cool.
Obviously, Heavy Rain was really cool. Some of the games though, not too convinced about. Actually, SOCOM's cool, but it didn't. It's a Wiimote, So like that's not
But
really.
it's so much more. It's
yeah, it's one for
I mean, like I tried to play RE4 on the Wii, and I was like, it was a struggle. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like
Yeah.
you played RE5 on the Wii, on the Move, and I was like, I'd play RE5.
yeah,
on the Wii too.
and then because I invert my controls, I was playing it all weird.
I mean, I know that it's definitely draws a lot of comparisons to the Wii controller, but I have to say that it's way more accurate
Yeah,
and
totally.
much better to use for sure.
Yeah, it is cool. It's cool. We'll see.
And it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm excited to have like a reason to kind of go back and replay Heavy Rain and experience it in
Totally.
a different way.
Yeah,
It's
that's
pretty
definitely a more
cool.
organic way to seem to play
Yeah.
the game. Is just to chill on your couch and play like that. And I'm gonna marry the 3DS. First of all,
Okay.
I said this on Podcast Beyond last week. I said it on the video we did. Nintendo won E3, and unequivocally won E3,
What?
and just
Unequ-
to-
Why?
Because they
unequivocally.
announced Donkey Kong. I don't
Was
get
that-
it.
was
I
that-
don't
because
get it.
because after the last
Equivation?
few years of just garbage,
Wait.
and things no
So
one.
based on the fact that they've been terrible
Yeah,
for
exactly.
years,
That's the wor-
being okay suddenly makes it
But I don't
great?
think it was okay. I think there was a lot of things like first of all, what really took the show for me was Kid Icarus. Finally, after 20 years.
See, they won
coming
because
back.
they did all this fanboy
So,
service.
so I'm actually gonna say that if somebody had to win, I would say, but narrowly, it would be Sony.
Yeah,
and the
high
reason,
five.
and the reason why is because one, right? Microsoft's big push was to a product that doesn't appeal to gamers, right? They were trying to get your mom and dad to want to be into gaming. And to me, Nintendo appealed to people who already bought a Wii because they thought this is what they were going to get from the beginning. When I stood in line, the night before the Wii came out, I was like, dude, I'm getting like friggin' Donkey Kong Country again. I'm getting an awesome Zelda game. And I'm sorry that Zelda game is not awesome. But anyway,
No, it's
but
not.
I thought they were just going to like rip off all these amazing, like go back in their library and I was going to get this great stuff. So for them to finally go, well, you bought this and it's been sitting around gathering dust for 4 years and now finally you're going to have a reason to play it. It doesn't get people to buy it. They already bought it. That's the
Right.
thing. For me, I thought for Sony one, it's that if you already own a PS3, you're excited because there's cool stuff coming out this year and then there's a ton of great stuff coming out exclusively next year. Like I don't think Microsoft sold themselves as a great exclusive console at E3. And then the other thing is that if you hadn't bought a PS3 yet, right? If you'd been waiting, I feel like Sony was the one company that gave you a reason to go out and buy one. That it's like I feel like if you already were into Halo or Gears of War, you've already bought the Xbox. But I felt like the stuff that was shown at E3, if you didn't own a PS3 already, would get you interested in it. The move speaks way more to gamers, and I mean, of course, it's a Blu-ray player, So I mean, that's always sort of like the killer part.
Okay.
I feel like our
yeah.
lineup was
Yeah.
pretty much. I mean, obviously, I'm very biased, but I feel like no one touched our lineup even before the curtain raised at E3. We had already talked about Infamous 2, Little Big Planet 2, Killzone 3. You knew about
Motorstorm was
SOCOM.
up, yeah.
You knew about GT5 coming. Motorstorm, Apocalypse. I mean, maybe another lineup that touches that. And then once we got out there and we showed you Twisted Metal, you're going to get some cool stuff from Portal. You're going to get exclusive content on Medal of Honor and Dead Rising.
Dead Space
Space 2,
Extraction.
my bad.
I
yeah.
still feel like Portal 2 was actually the biggest announcement
That
of
was
E3 because
awesome.
we knew what the 3DS was going to be announced and we kind of knew what it was going to do. But I thought Portal shocked me, and then the fact that it would actually be
Steam.
off of Steam servers and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's like because to me, it's like those are the subtle things that Microsoft can't do, right? Microsoft could never offer you Portal 2 running off a Steam server. Not only couldn't, but never would. And I think when you look at even Mod Nation Racers, which came out recently, it's like that's a kind of game that Microsoft is so adverse to. User-generated content, ugh. I mean, they're just so against it. And then, you come right out of E3, they announced the Medal of Honor beta, and it can't come out on 360 because they can't get it together. I mean, it's like, and that's not the first time that we've seen a beta or a demo that's gotten delayed on 360 because of some Microsoft trip up. So, I mean, I thought it was a solid show for everybody, but I would definitely give the edge to Sony, and I would say, Colin, you're very wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, it just for me, like Nintendo did exactly what everyone didn't expect them to do. Obviously, we knew the 3DS was going to happen and stuff, and maybe you can examine the minutia of like all the different conferences and say Sony, really, geared their stuff towards the core and the casual gamer and stuff. They did. I think it's easily Nintendo and Sony, then way in third as far as E3 conferences is Microsoft. Like, I think Microsoft's conference was bad. I mean, straight out bad. They didn't have any big announcements, except for the Xbox 3, the new 360, which we knew about. All the three major games they talked about, we've known about forever, So I wasn't impressed by that. Obviously, Twisted Metal was huge, especially because David Jaffe lied to everyone.
Yes, special segment liar, David Jaffe.
I love that.
Twisted Metal not coming E3.
I know, like
You are a liar, sir.
And then you jump out of an ice cream truck.
What a great found the absolute best way to kill a rumor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
that's
lie
not happening. Oh, okay, well, I guess it's not happening. He said it's not. I've heard that more than one time before E3 where people are like, he said there's not going to be Twisted Metal there. He said he's not going to be there. People in this office accepted it too. So I thought genius stroke. I don't know if you can pull that off twice though.
I thought he was working on Calling All Cars too.
God, I would have died so happy. And when I watched Twisted Metal, I saw a lot of Calling All Cars influence in it, and that got me very excited. Yeah. Marry, Boff, Kill. We're still on the first question. Jeff, what do you got?
I'm already married to Move.
Yeah,
and Move is having my babies. So
Okay.
I haven't tried the other two. So
What's wrong, Hill?
I'm just noting that you're running out of time.
No, Damon reset the tempo, so we
Okay.
can go longer. But we'll start wrapping it up.
Okay,
I'm gonna
cool.
get a few more.
I was just worried. I didn't want to get cut.
Our awesome
oh,
equipment that cuts
meetings.
off after. And what is it, hour 15? Is that what it
No,
does?
it's like a random hour and 8 minutes and 15. It's like something from Lost, I think.
We're wasting precious time.
I know.
Okay,
Adam
so-
writes in. He says, "What was with the press conference E3 love? EA and Activision seem to be demoing everything on the PS3. Have they finally realized that the PS3 is well beyond the competition?
Beyond.
That's what he says. Jeff, what do you know?
yeah,
about
well,
this? How does that
we
work?
noticed this in a lot of places. I mean, obviously stuff like Dead Space, and we've got a great relationship with EA. I think you first probably started to see that last year with all the sports titles and everything, like all the FIFA and Madden commercials, things like that. They're always holding a DualShock in their hands. You're going to see more of that. And I think, and of course with Dead Space 2 and Medal of Honor, you're going to see that demoed on PS3. They're going to be taking advantage of the Blu-ray to add extra content for
Dead Space
those
looks
people.
so good.
Yeah, it does.
Dead
does.
Space is awesome. So I'm going to say, though, for me, since you mentioned EA, a developer that actually has always been behind Sony is Criterion. And I thought Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, holy crap,
game looked good,
that
man.
game is awesome. That
About
game
time
is
they brought
super
that back
awesome.
too, huh?
That game is super awesome, and I'll say right now, without even having seen the 360 version, you will want to get the PS3 version because I know a lot of the Criterion guys very well, and their love affair with the PS3 has gone back to years ago when when it's very easy for developers to bag on and common for developers to bag on the PS3. Like they've always been on the side of loving developing for the PS3, so. Whichever version you get, just know that the PS3 one's going to end up being better because they care more.
The folks at Criterion really were able to take advantage of all the things that the PS3 can do. Even back in the Burnout days, it's like, all right, we got a built-in browser. They actually, when you first launched into Burnout Paradise, I think they added this in because they patched it. Like they kept
That's the game that
overhauling the
keeps
game
on
over.
giving.
Yeah,
so
totally.
much free stuff for that.
Amazing. But then it would launch into the website, and then you could see, you would launch to a special page with your stats and your friend's stats. They really were able to take advantage of all the different things it can do. And I know they're going to do that again for Need for Speed.
Yeah.
Glad, I'm really, really happy they're on that.
It's going to be awesome. And I think from a business standpoint, my sense would be that for most third party, if they're going to have something on two systems, it doesn't actually benefit them to grossly outsell on one system for the other. On either side, I think that they want a balance so that if, it's right now it's 70-30 for one of their games on 360 versus PS3. It's like they actually want it to be closer to 50-50 because they want to gain the audience on one system. So I think that, it makes sense to, if they've sort of been maybe loving 360 too much and demoing so much at E3 for years on 360 that it makes sense to go the PS3 route and go like, look, we need to make sure that we tap into both audiences to an equal amount because it's an equal amount of gamers, you know, and it doesn't make sense to put all your eggs in one basket, and especially because I mean, the thing that made I think PS3 like sort of this PS3 development story is so big in the early days is that Sony, you know, has always been a very hands-off. You guys, you know, this is the system. You guys kind of do what you want. You have free reign, so you can sort of like open up the doors, but we're going to kind of let you figure it out on your own. And I think Microsoft has always been a very handheld, like look, this is what you can do. We have very strict limitations on what you can do, and it's like, but we'll be there to show you sort of like in this smaller area. So I think as you know, now we're in year 4 or going into year 5 now for PS3. I think people have had time to really learn the system, and because there's so much freedom in it, I think that's why one of the reasons why somebody like Criterion, who does big stuff with online stuff, is like very excited because they don't run into those walls that Microsoft still has up, you know, and so there is like more like open freedom for them on Sony. It's just that you know you have to learn sort of how to build for the system in the beginning.
Well, it's not just the walls, but it's the ceiling, and the ceiling is undoubtedly higher on the PS3. And this is something you saw in the PS2 days.
Totally.
The best games came out after the 4-year period.
That's why you have your 10-year life cycles.
It's not BS.
I know.
I mean, it's something that we say all the time.
And I'm still gonna say the best game sound of all time is still Black on PS2. You can go back to listen to Black on PS2. I still don't think you'll find a game that sounds better on any system.
The Crazed Penguin, Matt Bartlett, writes in for a Little Big Planet 2 question. Something that hasn't been mentioned in any of the previews is doubtlessly weighing on a lot of people's minds. Are the floaty controls fixed? I offer you this, Matt. They were never broken. That's how Little Big Planet plays. That's how the game is. They are not
floaty?
fixed. Yeah.
I don't understand. Well, understand that argument.
When you jump, there's a little bit of float to it, so you have time to maneuver yourself in the air. We're talking fractions of seconds.
Why wouldn't you want that?
That's how Sackboy. I mean, he even sort of lifts his arms when you jump.
A lot of people, for some reason, had a big problem with that.
Really?
Yeah, they mentioned it during my behind closed doors demo with it, and they haven't fixed it because that's how the game is. Have fun with it. It's not broken is the main problem. But what they have done is now when you get into these sec bots or whatever, you can set how they jump. So if you don't like that, you can create your own level that's not at all how it is, and you climb in a little bit bigger sec bot, and you jump him around with no float or all the float you want. I don't know.
Something I thought that was really cool is they added a ton of extra animations on Sackboy. So like if you're on these bounce pads, which are a new feature in the game, if you just let him bounce up and down, he's got tons of different animations. Sometimes he's going to do a little flip in the air when he hits the apex of his jump. Sometimes he's going to sort of pose out for you. It's really cool. Just a lot of little details they were able to do.
For me, Little Big Planet is like the reason why everybody needs to own a PS3. Even if you're a 360 or a Wii fan, it's like I feel like for the most part, I think a lot of games you can find a comparable thing. Like so. There's GT5, but maybe you like Forza, so you could stick with your 360. But to me, it's like Little Big Planet is the one game where it doesn't exist anywhere else. Like there's just nothing even close to it. There's no mimic. It's just like such a unique experience that every gamer should like kind of dive into. That is like you could just have that one game and a Blu-ray player and own a PS3, and I think you'd be fine. Obviously, Sony wants you to own many more, but I mean, like to me, it's like that. That is like that. That would always be my selling point for people buying a PS3 is that like you just can't have that experience anywhere else.
Totally.
You can't have the Resistance 2 experience anywhere else either.
Let's not talk about how Halo's a better game.
You can have a better Killzone experience. Why you play Resistance 2 and you got Killzone 2, I'll never know. Anyways, we got one more question, then one more little happy email.
Okay.
This one is from longtime listener Enzo De Gregorio.
Yeah, we always struggle with that. Yeah.
De Gregorio. Dear Beyond Crew, ever since reading Greg's review of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, I've wanted that game as much as Ryan craves K-pop music and Jim craves McDonald's. Here's the thing, though. I don't have a PSP, and now there are rumors of a PS2 flying around. Make me wonder if getting a PSP is wise. As industry professionals, I want your opinions. Do I wait for a PSP 2, or do I get a PSP?
Just buy it now. We would have announced it.
Yeah, even if they announce a PSP 2, you're at... I mean, tomorrow, Jack Trenton, for no reason, gets on the blog and announces PSP 2. You're at, a year and a half out from it? You know what I mean?
Take it from somebody who has bought 3 PS3s and his PSPs in his time. You'll be fine.
Tell me your Metal Gear Solid PSP story. You read the review, very excited. You started digging around for your PSP Go, couldn't find it. Decided you were going to go buy a new PSP Go.
This is awesome. So first of all, I mean, I had a PSP. I had a PSP 3000, and then I bought a PSP Go, which, like, I loved. I feel like it solved any of the sort of holding issues that I ever had with the PSP before. And I think it's a great idea to have it just be a download system. Like, it makes so much sense. I mean, I'm so used to it on my iPhone, so it works perfectly for me. But it's like I go through cycles. Honestly, like I usually only play like handheld games when I'm traveling a lot. So I hadn't played the PSP in a couple of months, and then I read your Metal Gear review, and I was like, holy crap, I love Metal Gear. I'm so excited for this. Now I just need to go find my Go so I can buy it. I couldn't find my Go anywhere. So I was so desperate. I was like, screw it. I'm just going to have to go to GameStop. I'm going to have to buy myself a PSP Go. It's like, because I got to play Metal Gear. I just got to. That's how I am. I'm like, I'm broke, have a mortgage, but I'm going to sacrifice the money to get this. I pull up into the GameStop parking lot, and I go, oh yeah, I have a Edge card in my glove compartment. I stuck it there so I'd always remember to get it. I open up the glove compartment, PSP Go rolls out. It's been sitting in the glove compartment for 4 months. And so I will say right now, I don't think this has ever been part of the testing process, but a PSP Go can sit in a glove compartment for 4 months, still work perfectly.
Only in the Bay Area. I wouldn't try that.
So
Temperatures are a bit different here.
I'm very happy to say that my PSP Go and I are happily reunited, and Metal Gear is doing well for me.
Oh, jeez. Drop my
All right,
phone.
we have one more happy email here. It's from longtime listener Craig Pike. He says, "Hey guys, below/attached is 1 week old Carter David Pike,
Aw.
born June 14th at
Very cute.
8:46 p.m. It's been a crazy week already, but I wanted to let you know that Carter has already listened to his first podcast Beyond, the E3 edition. Thank you guys for your hard work and the articles, not only from E3 but the entire year. You guys are great. Carter's a fan." Craig
No
Pike.
hope for that kid whatsoever.
No, that was a bad choice. No. Colin needs my pen.
Carto's really a fan. His middle name would be Beyond.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
That's great. I want to know right now what listener will go that far to put it on. I got to dig back to the thing here now because we're done with reader mail. We're closing it out.
Can I ask one question of our readers? Now,
sure can.
Greg, in 1 month, you and I will be going down to
Oh,
Comic-Con
God, here
San
we go.
Diego.
Yes, we're going to Comic-Con San Diego. We're going to rock
We're
it.
going to be hanging out. There'll be a Sony booth there. It'll be cool. Now, Damon and I are going to get mohawks
Yes.
so that we can go in force. We want to have an IGN force, and we want to get readers to come who come to San Diego, have a mohawk. We'll give you something cool if you come up with us. But, Greg, you still refuse.
I've had a mohawk before. And
I don't
look
believe
good in it.
this.
I will bring in the photos.
I'll see the
it's
photos.
an antler tradition at the University of Missouri Columbia every time KU comes
But
down.
won't you look sexier standing next to two other guys
No,
with
because
mohawks?
see, I don't know what Comic-Con you go to. I go to Comic-Con and I don't see you till we're back in the hotel room writing.
We hung out a bunch last year.
We
You're full
did
of it.
one cosplay
Oh,
video.
no, I think you're lying.
And we went to Pinkberry for one of the worst IGN meet and greets of all
Oh,
time.
well, this year at Comic-Con,
Sorry, I missed that.
It's okay.
you and everyone else.
No, actually, we had a good turnout. We had like a dozen fans, right? A little less than that.
But I would say this year I plan on doing nothing at Comic-Con, so I'll be just hanging out with you all the whole time.
All right, cool. We'll see what happens. I don't want no mohawk.
Come on.
No.
Readers, write in if you think Greg Miller needs to have a mohawk.
That's
Show his
fine.
IGN
Remember, you
spirit.
can write in your questions at beyond@ign.com, also on the PlayStation 3 general boards at ign.com.
I had a big mohawk when I was an intern. It's not
Yes.
that bad. It's actually
And
fun.
it led to a job at IGN.
Yes.
Yeah,
Certainly
okay.
did.
We get a lot of those questions. How do you get a job at IGN? I would say usually a haircut is a big part of it.
We get a lot of
How do you
questions. How do you
compare?
get free games from Podcast Beyond? Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess now since we shoved in an E3 one, we gave away Syphon Filter, Logan's Shadow on PS2. What you had to do was send in a thing of you being Gabe Logan or, somehow evangelizing this game. Many people sent in. Everybody got a copy. We had a lot of copies of this game, if you recall. Nobody was left out in the cold, but the winner who gets the game and the Uncharted art book is none other than Anthony Zaldana. What he did is made a live-action video of the Syphon Filter Logan's Shadow trailer, where he acts out
Wow.
the parts, he does the voiceover, he rolls around in the ground. It's great.
Send it over to me. We're gonna put that on the blog.
Sounds good. You can also, it's officially an IGN video right now. It'll be, if you got this podcast, which has been wonderful, off iTunes, you can go to IGN.com, click on the Podcast Beyond article, and it'll be embedded right there for you.
I'm going to try again to get you to get this mohawk.
Oh,
So,
God.
one of my favorite things is I love watching the guys who do like Lego stop motion stuff, and they recreate games using Lego stuff. Like they did Bionic Commando, which was great. So, would you, Greg, agree that if somebody can do an infamous Lego stop motion video, that's cool?
That's cool.
That's cool. Like maybe they do an infamous trailer
Yeah.
for you, stop motion Lego style, that you will get a mohawk,
And it's cool.
and it's cool. So
And
that's the
you're
judgment.
really doing this. This won't be a gold sleeve back out.
No, I think we're all gonna go get mohawks together and do
Okay.
a game scoop while we're getting mohawks.
If that's the case, then sure, I'll do it.
Okay.
All right.
So there you go. The challenge is out there, fans. And I'm sure Jeff would love to put something like that up on the PlayStation blog as well.
You're damn right.
All right. Wrapping up this show, the Clementsless show. Do you want to give a sick shout out to him, Colin? You want to give him Beyond?
We'll give a Beyond that Ryan Clements.
He's been sick for a long
He
time
has been
now.
sick. He was sick even back. I mean, we were at E3. And he was not feeling well, so he's definitely under the weather.
All right.
I wouldn't have done this podcast if I knew that he wasn't
You
going
were
to be
very
here.
upset when you got here and he wasn't here. All right, so shout out to Ryan Clements to feel better. We also have a shout out to DJ. This is from Ryan Clements. He was contacted on Facebook by DJ. DJ needs some love from the podcast Beyond Crew. He lost his dad at the beginning of the month, and then his puppy named Sugar was also lost. So we want to let you know, DJ, we are
That's
with
a
you
rough
and
month.
love
Wow,
you.
that's a rough month.
Ryan
Sorry.
demanded I do this. I didn't want to bring down. We also have the mountain climber, Andrew. We have it posted here on our wall. I'll put it in the article if I can get it as well. We had a listener named Andrew who climbed to the top of a mountain and thought to bring a podcast Beyond sign. So we have a photo of him at the summit of a mountain there, ready to go. Andrew is going to be our PSN hit of the week.
Yeah, of course he is.
He is the_murder_88.
Okay.
PSN hit confirmed.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And I knocked my headset off.
That is dedication.
What? The
Climbing
mountain?
to the top
The
of
thought process to write it on cardboard ahead of time, that is very impressive.
Yeah,
That
so
is very,
that's
very
it's
good.
pretty
It's,
awesome.
Especially
now-
if he didn't bring, like, some, like, sort of energy bars or oxygen.
Oh,
Like, you had to make it
toss this other crap out. I gotta
You
get
guys
the Beyond sign.
that
to get
sign
up
was
there.
actually 3 times that size when he started, but he was slowly snacking on it all the way.
Does that close out on the show?
Yeah, that's it. I think.
Join me, everybody. Remember, questions beyond at IGN.com. Go to the boards. Follow me on Twitter at GameOverGreggy. All I do is post PlayStation stuff and IGN stuff. What do you want to plug there, Jeff? What do
Oh,
you got?
PlayStation blog. You can just look for us at PlayStation on Twitter or just search for PlayStation blog on Google.
All right. Colin, you're on the Facebooks.
I'm on the Facebook.
You
can find
accept
me
PSN friend requests? How's that going?
there. Yeah, my list is always full, but I've been.
But you cycle people out.
Yeah.
What's the new waiting period?
The inactive period is still 10 days. If you're inactive for 10
If you're
days,
inactive
I
for 10 days.
I delete you.
Gone.
So have you deleted me? I only have 2 PlayStation friends, and I think it's
I don't
just
think we were ever
Greg
even-
and-
I don't think
Uh,
we were. I don't think we were.
Oh,
ever
that's
friends.
right. You were too full, and you were
No,
like, I'm not going to do
there's
it.
certain people I won't delete. Like
Okay.
people that we work with, I won't delete them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can add me Moriarty-IGN. I purge people when they are inactive, when they are foolish enough to not sign into PlayStation Network for 10 days.
Okay.
Then they're out.
Hill, you got anything to plug?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. I basically comment on all of Greg's Twitter posts. So
Yeah.
I'm just Hillary Goldstein, no spaces. That's easy enough
There
on
you go.
Twitter. There you go.
All right, this has been Podcast Beyond, episode 142. Taking us out this week is a track. It's a little bit special. It's not a listener track so per se. This is Damon Hatfield. You all know him as the host of IGN Game Scoop, IGN writer here. He is also Monster-0. Monster-hyphen, whatever. Is the numeral 0. He's put out a new album called Monster Zero Works for You. You can find it on iTunes. And this is Never You Mind. Beyond!
Beyond.
Beyond.
Peace.
Remember in the summer when we first met each other, we drank ourselves into bed, you know we had it made. Well, I still got your number, I'm waking up your mother, I'll crawl into your window, girl, and this is what I'll say. I am inclined to think about you most all the time, until I forget to press rewind, and then I remember when you were mine, never you mind. Some girls are looking scary. You said on the contrary, we'll divide and conquer and press them all before the dawn. Well, I knew you'd deceive me, run around and leave me one step ahead of the game before you know it, I was gone. I am inclined to think about you most all the time, until I forget to press rewind, and then I remember when you were mine, never you mind. I am inclined to think about you most all the time, until I forget to press rewind, and then I remember when you were mine, never you mind. So you found some ugly glasses, you've been taking
all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.